The second decade of the 20th century was a busy time for the Britannia mine. By 1914, less than 10 years since production began, the mine was a hive of activity. There were new homes and amenities for workers, and importantly, a new mill was being constructed to significantly increase production. The second mill went into full production in 1916, and later that year, the mine became the largest copper producer in the then British Empire. Over the next 2 years, production more than tripled, and even after the war was over and copper prices were falling, copper production at Britannia began to climb. But these glory days were not to last. By late 1920, the price of copper dipped, production was halted, and the mill was shut down until prices picked up again. But fire would see the shutdown continue longer than anyone anticipated. At 7:30 p.m. on the night of March 7th, 1921, fire broke out in one of the crushers. Fanned by a draft and fueled by oil used in the milling process, the fire quickly spread throughout the building. The fire hydrants were useless, and although there were powerful water hoses on the roof, only one could be reached. Firefighters bravely used this to fight the flames, but were forced back just minutes before the roof collapsed. The fire rapidly spread to nearby trees, taking out the telephone and the railway systems that connected Britannia Beach to the Mount Sheer town site higher on the mountain. Workers and their families huddled near the waterfront and could only watch on in horror as flames shot 100 feet into the air. Having realised that the mill was beyond saving, Edward Donoghue, the general manager, directed efforts into saving the nearby power plant. It took over 12 hours to bring the fire under control. The wind fanned the embers and reignited hotspots. Weary firefighters were kept at their posts through the night, but eventually the fire was extinguished. The mine may have lost the mill, but the power plant, one of the best equipped in the country, was saved. Flames had reached within 10 feet of its walls. Saved too were the nearby homes and storehouse, as well as the machine shop, which today remains an important part of the museum. A new mill would have to be built as soon as possible. This time there would be one big difference. It would be made of concrete and steel. Today, a century later, the site of the fire still bears the scars of the traumatic night. You can still see equipment half swallowed by the mountain, old timbers that could not be removed lying where they fell. You can also see the foundations of the second mill, and just above them to the left is what remains of the powerhouse, which stood for another 75 years. As a curator here, I find this a special site. All the heritage buildings here have been altered in one way or another. An upgrade here, a coat of paint there, or even a complete renovation. But the site of the second mill is largely unchanged a century later. These foundations, lying as they do directly next to the third mill, are a tangible reminder of how a community can overcome disaster, face adversity, and come out again on top.